Hello, good morning everybody. Hope all of you are good. So today we are going to talk about social, emotional, cognitive development in middle childhood. Okay, so first of all, I want to ask you that do you know the age of the middle childhood or not? You know they have a specific age for every. For example, we had it for the early childhood, middle childhood, and late childhood. Yeah, and then you can type your answer in the meeting chat. Yeah, good. It's between 8 to 11 years old. Yeah. So we want to know that what are the main dimension of the social, emotional, and cognitive development. And as you know, in the previous chapter, we already talked about the different domains of the development. Yeah, we have a social and emotional domain, cognitive and physical. Okay, so in this chapter, we are talking about social, emotional, and cognitive development. So I do my best to you get a general overview about what is all of these dimensions in the development of the middle childhood. Okay, so we have overview of, like the previous chapter, we have an overview like self-concept, self-esteem, control, self-control. So you can see the first three subtopic is about the self. So it means that self is very important at this stage. Yeah, and then after that we are talking about understanding others, how we are going to understand other people, how we are going to understand their feeling, their emotion, and then family, peer, school are the important environmental factor on child development. Okay, and the last topic is about Piaget's theory, about the concrete operational stage. Okay, so self-concept. Do you know the definition of the self-concept? Yes, good. Self-concept is a understanding. To make it very simple and make it very easy, is about the self-understanding. Okay, but when we are talking about the self-understanding, what you really understand? Okay, so when we are talking about the self-concept, we are talking about the 5 important factors in the definition of the self-understanding. Okay, so what are these 5 factors? Okay, before we go to the definition of these 5 factors, and then I give you example, okay, about each type of these 5 factor, I want you to imagine in your mind that you have a child between 8 to 11 years old. Or maybe you can refer to your childhood, yeah, when you were a child, and when you were between 8 to 11 years old. I don't know you remember it or not, okay, but you can imagine a child in your mind. For example, Michael is in my mind. Any information I learned in this chapter, I refer it to in my mind, and I refer it to Michael that is in my mind. Okay, so it's make it more easy for me later on when I want to remember it. Okay, so for example, psychological characteristics. At this stage, they are explaining themselves with the different traits, different characteristics. Social description, social comparison, it means that the society and the friends, social communication is important for them. Real self and ideal self, and also realistic. Okay, all of these components are very important to define self-concept. So the self-concept, when we are talking about it, we have to refer to all of these different components. Okay, not only one component. We have to refer to all of the component. Okay, so a child for the psychological characteristics defined as for example, I ask child, Michael, who you are? I'm a smart student. I'm a helpful student. Yeah. So they explain themselves with the different types of the psychological traits. So it means that they can evaluate themselves, they can explain themselves, and they have this understanding about themselves, that who I am. I'm helpful, I'm smart, or I'm very friendly. Yeah. So there are some sample of the characteristics and traits that they explain themselves. Okay, so what about the social comparison? social description. When we are talking about the social description, we are talking about, for example, I'm in my class, I have 3 friends. I describe myself in the society, in relate to the society. Yeah, so I'm an individual person, but I can relate my traits, my abilities to the society. So I have 3 friends. Or for example, I'm Girls Scott, yeah, or based on the what group you are belong to this type of the group. Okay, so for the social comparison, we compare between ourselves and the other people. So they have some statement, for example, I'm smarter than my friends, or my friend is more helpful than me. Yeah, so they can compare between themselves and their friends. So it means that they have ability for the social comparison. Okay, so what about the real self and ideal self? Okay, so real self and ideal self is always a topic in psychology, yeah? But they start to distinguish between real self and ideal self. Yeah, for example, I'm helpful, but I must to be more helpful. I have to help 10 of my friends. So it's my ideal self. But in my real self, I can help only 2 of my friends. Okay, so they can distinguish and they can differentiate between real self and ideal self. So you can refer it to your life, yeah? All of us, we have a real self, yeah? And then all of us, we have an ideal self. Yeah, so we are thinking that we aspire and we are doing our best to reach to the ideal self. So it's something that always is in our life. Yeah. Okay. So for the realistic, they are more when we listen to the conversation. For example, you go to the. It's very interesting when we apply the information that we're learning in this subject to the society or to the environment. Yeah, for example, you go to the kindergarten, you go to the playground. I always listen to the conversation. When you listen to the conversation between the children, or for example, you go to the elementary school, when you listen to the conversation, they are talking about their realistic. Yeah, they are talking about the social comparison. They are talking about the abilities. For example, mommy, for example, I'm very helpful person in my classroom. Yeah, or mommy, I'm very smart in my classroom. So it means that they are realistic, they doing self-description, they are doing the self-comparison. So if it only one statement, you can understand that they evaluate themselves and they understand themselves who they are. Okay? Not only you read the theory and then don't apply it in the environment. You can listen to their conversation, for example, in the classroom. Yeah, you listen to the conversation, or during break. You listen to the conversation and you know that they have social comparison, they have social description, and then they are realistic. Okay, so I told you that you listen to the conversation, yeah, in the different environmental situation. This video is showing that how they are going to explain themselves. They are explaining themselves with the different characteristics, psychological characteristics, and also at the end of the video you will see that they are explaining themselves in terms of the society, and they have doing the social description and also social comparison.
Children show changes in their self-concepts with age. Preschool children like Todd and Christopher are likely to describe themselves in terms of physical characteristics, possessions, and behaviors.
I play in the dirt and I put cement and I make a building. My room has dinosaurs in it. The dinosaur room. Mine is a dinosaur room, and my mom's is a girl room, and my dad's is in the middle, and mine's on the left side, and my mom and some couches, and a big TV,
describe themselves in less concrete terms. Like Rachel, Stephanie, and Ricardo, they may describe themselves in terms of group membership.
I'm not.
Yeah, so here they make a social description and also social comparison. So it means they are not alone, and when they are going to explain themselves, they relate it to the group.
Mine. Go to the Marlboro Intermediate School. My favorite color is purple. I'm in second grade and I have one brother and I like to go swimming. I'm in the fourth grade.
Yeah, so at this age, they are explaining about themselves in terms of the different psychological characteristics. Okay, so our next topic is about self-esteem. Before we are going to the next topic, I expect all of you to write down an example for every component for the self-concept. Okay, thank you.